It's no surprise that the book chose Amazon as the example for an efficient supply chain. So we're going to talk a little bit about Amazon. So their massive transformation from a simple online bookseller to the most dominant force in the retail industry is its innovative and highly efficient supply chain. Amazon's continuous efforts to deliver products to the customer in the quickest possible time are causing intense pressure over other giant players in the retail industry across the globe, and thus changing the way that supply chain management works. So Amazon was able to grow from 7 billion in 2004 to 136 billion in 2016. Can you guess why? Well, it's because of the launch of its Amazon Prime service that was started in 2006. So customers paying an annual membership fee received a guaranteed 2-day shipping on hundreds of thousands of products. In fact, the introduction of 2-day delivery was a game changer and established the dominance of Amazon in the online retail industry. The supply chain is, as you can have guessed, the P in the 4 Ps of product, price, promotion, and place. People sometimes overlook the importance of place in the marketing mix simply because it happens behind the scenes, but the marketing channel management adds so much value because it gets products to people efficiently, quickly, and at a low cost. So effective supply chain management is the reason we can have bananas for $2 from Panama, or French wine that you can buy at your local grocery store at an affordable price. And it's just a great way to be able to have products from everywhere, and the better the supply chain is, then the more savings that you can see at every stage, so from the stores into the customers. So why would a supply chain be more efficient with a distribution center rather than simply delivering directly to stores? Well, in an ideal world, it would be cheaper to buy everything directly from the manufacturer, but that would mean that you would have to be close to the place where this is manufactured. It would be too congested to have one delivery to each customer individually. So what manufacturers tend to do is to manufacture the products and then convene them at a retail distribution center. And from there, it tends to ship to each store. It is at this distribution center where all the product is organized and managed accordingly. Companies like Amazon call their distribution center a fulfillment center. And that's because from the fulfillment center, they don't go directly to the store, but they go directly to the customer. So that's really where the difference between the retail distribution center and the fulfillment center lies. But all in all, the distribution center serves as a place to accumulate merchandise from many vendors and then allocate it to stores in the quantities they need. So imagine the congestion if every vendor had to deliver to every store. Marketing channels are important because imagine going to do grocery shopping, right? But imagine that instead of going to the grocery store, you had to purchase each individual item from the producer or the manufacturer. That's impossible. You'd have to go to 100 different places to get everything that you would need to stock your fridge. So to make things easier, it's of course not easy for the producer to sell their items to each individual end consumer. So to reduce the number of transactions, producers sell to, say, 10 stores, 10 local stores, and then they reduce their numbers of transactions that way. This adds value to the consumer because then they reap the benefits of having a convenient place to purchase everything, and it's just more effective. One of the reasons Amazon Prime was able to be so successful with their 2-day delivery system is that you can almost guarantee that your item will be delivered in 2 days. If you use the site a lot, then you would know that sometimes you may choose to buy something from Amazon just because you know that you will receive it on time, as opposed to other online retailers. This is important because this fulfillment of the delivery promise is what has made them so successful. and being able to make over 160 billion in 10 years. We are talking about manufacturer to the customer. We can think of, for example, Etsy. That is pretty much a manufacturer to customer relationship, and we call this direct channel because there are no intermediaries from the manufacturer to the end consumer. When there are intermediaries, we call it an indirect channel. And these intermediaries can be a retail store or a wholesaler and a retail store, but either way, they're indirect marketing channels. In order to have an effective supply chain, you have to manage it similarly to the way you would manage your personal relationships. When conflict occurs, you have to find a solution through negotiations rather quickly. So you have a vertical conflict when you have two entities from a different level, so the manufacturer and a retail store, when they come into conflict with each other. And this tends to happen because the manufacturer and the retail store don't always have the same goals. They are not from the same company sometimes, so their goals and their objectives may differ, and a lot of times they want to do what is most convenient for them, and this may affect the other supply chain entities. You have a horizontal conflict when 2 or 3 entities from the same level, so 2 or 3 retail stores that are in agreement about something. But the way that the supply chain works is that it's best when their goals are aligned and they work together to reach their same interests. It happens that a lot of times a company may choose to buy all the members of the supply chain, so from the manufacturer to the wholesaler to the retailer. But it also happens that you can't buy all of them, so some company like that would be Procter & Gamble, that produces the products and then has the distribution centers and then delivers them to the stores. And then they don't own their stores, but the stores buy their products. Or, for example, Amazon, that doesn't produce the product, but they get shipped to the fulfillment center, and then they are in charge of the rest of the supply chain, and it delivers it directly to the consumer. So there's many ways to do this, but the idea here is that you have to be careful when managing your supply chain and to make sure that all parties are operating smoothly and are on the same page and have no conflict. So there's different types of vertical marketing systems. The administered vertical marketing system has no common ownership and no contracts in the relationship, so the dominant channel member controls the channel relationship. The contractual vertical marketing system has independent firms that join together through contracts to obtain economies of scale. And that's when you produce in such large amounts that you're able to reduce the price per item of something that you're selling. And corporate vertical marketing systems are the parent company has complete control and dictates priorities of the supply chain. It may own warehouses, manufacturing plants, etc. And in essence, incorporation is naturally greater in a corporate system than in an independent supply chain. So, continuing with the personal example developed above, marketing channels and supply chains work through strategic relationships. Much like personal relationships, supply chain relationships are stronger when there is mutual trust, open communication, common goals, and credible commitments. Technological advances have really helped the supply chain management to become much more efficient, and vendor managed inventory, so VMI, is an approach for improving supply chain efficiency in which the manufacturer is responsible for maintaining the retailer's inventory levels in each of its stores. But we're not going to go specifically into detail about all the technological advances in the supply chain management. What we really want to get is a general idea and why it's so important and how it adds value. Earlier in a previous slide, we talked about how the manufacturers can send items directly to the stores or send them through a wholesaler or distribution center before. And there are many reasons why the So what are the advantages of having a distribution center? More accurate sales forecast due to many stores. It can lower inventory in each store, therefore lower overall inventory costs. Overstock and understock is less of a problem here, and it is less expensive to store in a remote warehouse than expensive retail location. But this may not be the best option if the retailer has few outlets or the stores are consolidated. Many firms are now requiring that manufacturers ship floor-ready merchandise. And by floor-ready, it means that the ticketing and the marketing on the product is already on it. So when the retailer gets the manufacturing items, you can just put them on the display shelves instead of having to ticket and mark them individually. So inventory management systems track goods throughout stores, warehouses, and DCs. As its name implies, just-in-time inventory management, it ensures goods get delivered only when they are needed, so there's no excess in inventory. When you go to a store and you see a great deal of sales and a lot of sales rack, it means that they weren't able to get rid of the product fast enough, so they have to do it via promotions. But ideally, stores should be able to get more product when they run out of the other ones so that they don't have to store it or are overflowing with it.